Alright, gonna give y'all an update on what's been going on. I know I've been giving y'all updates of what I plan on doing, not really of what I have done. I've been doing a ton of welding, it's taking up a lot of my time. Let's see, I've cut out the center section of, let me rephrase that. I took this sheet of steel over here, camera to it. That sheet of steel, 1/4 inch thick, that I bought the other day. Use my new plasma cutter. Cut out 2 sections for the center section of the truck with that Weld Prime, what is it, 50 DP? It's a scratchless operation style, so you only have to touch the tip to it to get the arc and start going. This is what I just got done welding together. This ain't my full-time gig, so welds may not look perfect to a lot of people that do it full-time, but they got the job done. This centerpiece is going to be holding the bracketry for the side step that will be pivoting up and down that I'm working on. So I've got that fully welded out. I've got the other bottom plate right there for the other side, back over there. Go over to the front. This is what I was been welding on. It's fully welded out, ready to go. I just got to go get the proper head size socket for that. That way I can bolt on the other end. But I've already made my links for both sides. I have them sitting over on the vise on the other side. But this is ready to go. It's solid as hell. Still waiting on my other tire tube to come in. For whatever reason, I guess I must have pinched it with the tire spoon when putting the tube in and busted it. I've got 2 more coming in through Amazon, but it got pushed back, so I don't know when it's going to be in. But in the meantime, we'll get this whole truck knocked out, finished, painted, put back together, and hopefully have it ready for whenever that tire tube comes in. But this is an update, what I've been working on. You can see the other bracket down there. I was previously trying to mount it inside of this area, but I didn't have enough pivot space, so I'm still going to use the bushings and everything when I scratch that bracket, build, what, 4? 2, 4? Yeah, 4 more brackets just like it, but a lot better condition to mount right there and mount onto the step. So I got of a step-by-step video on how I'm doing it, still putting it all together for you. And I still got 1 more limit strip to put on the back. But that's how everything's been going. How y'all doing tonight? So with a heat index of 112 today, I decided to nap throughout the day and decided I'm going to work all night long if I can, building these hydraulic steps, not hydraulic, winch powered electric steps. What I'm working on. It's currently 86.4 with a, what's that, 74 humidity level. A little hot in here, but try to knock out these steps tonight. What else we got? Knock out the steps, put the other plate in. I've already got 1 center plate fully welded in. I got that other one on the floor that's got to go on the other side. I'll be putting those brackets right here, and I got to build a step for up here, and it'll probably be about a 2-foot set of arms on each step to, what is that, 2 foot with the arm, should give me about a 4-foot drop, so that way I can still reach the door handle. That's what we got going on tonight. I'll try to keep up to date. I got everything going on my Insta360, so I got to edit the videos, add them together. I'm going to try to do a full video collage of me building the steps. That way anybody else trying to build some, y'all will be able to, mimic it, maybe modify it your own certain way. But, something to help you out, save you some money. Good morning. So today we're going to be building us a budget-friendly electric step setup for the truck. I've been taking a lot of measurements. It's probably going to be about 4 foot wide. And just going to do whatever we can to save as much money. I was originally going to go with ham joints for the control arms to help it pivot up and down. That's a good chunk of money. I'm going to keep it kind of as cheap as possible, just as much money as this truck's done cost me so far. I started pricing everything out. I bought a bunch of these bushings off of Amazon. These are the same diameter as the tubing I've been using on my entire build. Well, you can buy this entire bushing setup with the tube and everything ready to go for $19.99 online. I went ahead and ran the math on it. If I would have bought, 16 of them, I'll need, 8 per side. If I bought 16 of them, it cost me $346 just for this little setup right here. With me buying the bushing separately, cutting the tubing down to the proper size that I need, and just assembling it to be identical to what I was going to buy. Let's see, it comes out to $173 making all 16 of them. Saves me $172 just by taking that little bit of time to cut this piece of tubing down, sand it, and install these little bushings off Amazon. These come in a 2-pack. They're $19.99, I want to say, off Amazon. The tubing, I buy it by 24-foot sections. Ran the math on that. I'm paying 12 cents an inch, and it takes just an inch and 7/8 to cut down. So you're not spending much money at all. Each bushing is $10.84. So save a good bit of money doing it that way. Let's see. As far as what they're going to be bolted to will be the angle iron. I'm not going to be spending a lot of money on buying CNC cut brackets already. So what I'll be doing is I'll be running the angle iron side by side like that, running the bushing right in the middle of it. And that's how it's going to wind up bolting up in the truck. Everything's going to be going off the center subframe of the chassis, and I should have somewhere around a 2-foot arm on each top and bottom. I haven't done the full math on it. It's going to be, trial and error, just winging the whole truck like I've been doing everything else. But it should have somewhere around a 2-foot, I believe a 2-foot up, 2-foot down, something like that. But when we get there, we'll see it all, how it all goes. But this is going to be our little budget-friendly setup. I'm using a Harbor Freight winch. It's a 2500. I got it on sale for $79.99. With the price of the winch and the price of this setup right here that I've got so far, it's at $260. So I'm looking at hopefully have both both step setups done for under $500, which is perfect, because a lot of people don't have a ton of money. They got some really badass hydraulic step setups that you can buy online for $3,500. And as far as I know, that's not including the actual step. That's just everything to make it work and the bracketry. Great company that makes it, but it's not my budget. And like I said, if I went with Heim joints, I'd probably be sitting around $1,500 just from not using these. So just trying to keep it as friendly as possible. So anybody else in my situation trying to save some money, do it on their own at home, this is what you can do. Alright, so what we're about to do is take this tubing, what I've already got set up right here that's already marked down. We're going to cut it down to 1 7/8, just like this one we did. Once cut it down, we'll be able to clean it up, apply the bushings. The tubing that I'm using is 1 3/4. It's 0.120 wall. It's not DOM, it's just regular rolled steel. Funny story is, being this is all new to me, when I started building all this, I ordered just a ton of metal, bunch of tubing. I was told it was all DOM. I couldn't, at the time, tell the difference between DOM and rolled steel. So majority of the truck is actually made out of rolled steel tubing, which I've seen comparison videos between the DOM and the rolled steel. DOM is better, but in short sections it doesn't seem to bend as much, I'm guessing. So I'm perfectly fine with it. I mean, hell, people use pipes on their mud trucks, building it. So I'm just using that. But anyway, so this is what we're going to use to put the bushings into. Let's see, what else? I'm going to go ahead and cut this down. Once I get done, I'm going to take it over there to the grinder and buff all the stuff off of it, clean it up. I'll probably spin it around on the grinder, just to give it just a slight bevel, just so when I do paint it, the paint won't chip off the edge. Smooth it all out, and then we'll apply the bushing. We'll put grease on the bushing, then apply it. And we got 16 of them to make. Let's get this thing started. Inch and 7/8. That's pretty damn close. I cut this with the Porta-Band yesterday and put it where I needed it. Didn't have one of these chop saws. I wanted to go into Harbor Freight and buy this chop saw. A little less than 200 bucks. Watch reviews. Even though I'm a huge Milwaukee fan, the only thing really going for Milwaukee is going to be the warranty when you buy these. This runs neck and neck with it. Like I said, it's Harbor Freight. It's the Hercules. Yeah, Hercules brand. And, I mean, I've only made 2 cuts on it so far. No problems whatsoever. We'll find out throughout the rest of this, what I have left on the build, how well it does. And, yeah, so, like I said, you can either use a chop saw, band saw. If you're really trying to pinch pennies and you don't have the tools, use a hand saw. Whatever you need to do. But that way I can get me a perfect cut. Porta-Band works great, but I mean, you got to really have a dead nuts on a Porta-Band. That's why I went ahead and bought a chop saw. Make it a lot easier. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my little belt sander right here, clean off all the edges off that metal. Clean up real good. Once I'm done with that, take it over here. This old jankety wire wheel. We're going to brush it all off, clean it all up good. Once we're done with all this, we'll take it back over there, and we'll take the drill and go ahead and kind of drill out the inside with the little flap disc, clean it all out also. So that's all I was doing, was just kind of deburn the sides of it. The flap disc will clean out the inside. Okay, so now we've buffed everything off. I buffed around the inside. We sanded around the outer edge. This thing's completely smooth now. The reason why we buff everything off of it, because there's what they call like a mill scale on top of the tubing. And it's on top of your steel that you buy also. You want to get all that mill scale off. You can weld on top of it, but if you want 100% perfect penetration, you want to get all the mill scale off down to the raw metal as much as possible. So whenever you make your connections and you tack and weld and everything, there's no way that sucker's going to break loose if you know how to properly weld. So you want to make everything as prepped and cleaned up as possible. Alright, so I went and got the drill, got my little flap disc. I think I went to Northern Tool and bought this. About 2 or 3 of them, all just a bunch of little flat pieces of, sand grit paper all up on it. It's the same diameter as the inside of the tubing. Inch and, well, let's see. Yeah, the outer diameter is 1 3/4 inches. This is supposed to fit all up in it. Anyway, so all you gotta do is just kind of get it up in there first. And just clean it up a little bit. You don't want to do it too much to where it changes the inner diameter. You just want to clean it all up. That way, whenever you clean it with a brake cleaner, clean it all out, apply your grease and assemble it, it'll come out close to factory as possible. Okay, so now that we got everything cut, cleaned, and prepped, we're going to take our brake cleaner. A lot of this stuff you don't have to go to this extreme of cleaning, but I just want to make sure everything is going to last as long as possible. Try to be as professional as possible as I can. Just take it, clean everything off of it. I don't have no sandblast booth or anything like that to where I could just, throw it in there and knock it all out. Just got to work with what you got. Okay, prepped and cleaned. It is some, you ain't got to get high temp grease. This is just a grease that I had on hand. Go ahead and just apply it. I'm not going to do a ton, just because I'm still going to be pulling this sucker back apart when it's time for paint. I'm going to have to brake clean it all over again. Try not to get too over the top of all this. And some on the inside. You got your little pin you're going to run up in there. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to pull this all back apart for powder coat later on. But for now, to get it all, everything assembled and make sure everything's functioning properly. This is what we got. So, that $20 bushing, which is similar to this one, now we got two of them. Looks like I may have to throw out that extra 1/8 of an inch. I may start making them 2 inches wider. That way I get the full gap filled. So, but anyway, so that's the process I'm doing all the bushings for the electric steps on the truck. Alright, so I've already knocked out all 16 of my bushings. Got that all set up and ready. I've already made part of the first bracket. This is half of it. See, I already got my bushings in place. Had to go buy some, what are they, 1/2 inch. I bought all stainless steel with a nylon threaded lock nut. Pivots just fine, just like what I want. I got to make an identical bracket to this. And basically look like 2 H's side by side. Then I'm going to put a piece of tubing in between to keep them perfectly aligned where they need to be. Once I have that, that'll be my full bracket. And I will need a total of 4 of them. A pair of them per arm. Now, how I went about getting what I have right here, every vehicle is going to be different. Depends on how big you want to make it and everything else. For me, I needed, 10 5/8 I want to say. So yeah, 10 5/8 long is what I needed. And you can space them out however you want. What I did, I think I went, it was 1.25 inches, and I did 8 1/4 down. I marked my little lines. After I did that, being this is a 2 inch, I went ahead and went to the inch mark, made me a little 1 inch dot where it's going to be dead center. After I did that, took my little punch right here, lined up right on the dot, so when I go to drill it, I get a perfect hit. You just pop in a couple times till you get you nice indention. Now, what you'll do next, whatever size bit you want to use, this, for my case, is going to be an 1/8 inch bit. This is just going to be for a pilot hole. So I'm going to drill straight through here on each one. Once I get those drilled, let's see, I'm going to take this other bracket right here. Matter of fact, we flip this around. I live by an airport, if you couldn't tell. Airplanes always flying over. Anyway, so once you have everything punched where you want it, you drill your 1/8 inch pilot hole. You're going to take your second bracket, Here I go working ass backwards. Alright, so you can take your bracket that you haven't drawn anything on yet. Get it in your vise. Now you don't have to do it this way, it's the way that I prefer to do it because it's a little easier and more precise. So you got your one that you don't have nothing drilled in. This one's going to have your pilot holes. Remember you drew the lines, you did your 1/8 inch hole, 1/8 inch hole. Get that circle lined up where you want it. Clamp them together. Let's see. A little bit better. So you clamp it together. Like I said, you would already have your pilot holes on this one, but you haven't drilled through the bottom. So you can use that pilot hole to help you pilot to the next one. So whenever you drill them, they'll both be identical. In my case, my numbers are a little off. I don't have 2 inches here and 2 inches here. Mine's at 1 3/4 and 8 3/4. So it's, you know, I have to make sure this thing stays exactly where it's at. I'll drill those out. Once I get those perfectly lined up how I want them, I'll come back with my 1/2 inch bit, because the bushings have a 1/2 inch fitting or 1/2 inch hole running through them. You'll drill them out to 1/2 inch. You'll bolt them together just like this. Once these are, both sets are fully bolted together how they're supposed to be, that's whenever you go up to the truck and you'll figure out how far apart you're going to want them setting. In my case, they're probably going to be about, only a couple inches apart depending on underneath it. Anyways, you'll find out exactly where you want it, and you can either weld a bar here and here, or you can do one right in the middle. Just make sure everything stays dead even, because you still got to make 3 more identical bars to this. Like I said, you're going to need 1 full set per side, you'll have 2 of these to make 1 set, and you got to do the other set for the step. That way it can mimic this. And then we'll start working on the bars next, once I get this done and find out if I got enough angle iron. How y'all doing tonight? So with the heat index of 112 today, I decided to nap throughout the day and decided I'm going to work all night long if I can, building these hydraulic steps, not hydraulic, winch powered electric steps. What I'm working on. It's currently 86.4 with a 74 humidity level. A little hot in here, but try to knock out these steps tonight. What else we got? Knock out the steps, put the other plate in. I've already got 1 center plate fully welded in. I got that other one on the floor that's got to go on the other side. I'll be putting those brackets right here, and I got to build a step for up here, and it'll probably be about a 2-foot set of arms on each step to, what is that, 2 foot with the arm, should give me about a 4-foot drop, so that way I can still reach the door handle. That's what we got going on tonight. I'll try to keep up to date. I got everything going on my Insta360, so I got to edit the videos, add them together. I'm going to try to do a full video collage of me building the steps. That way anybody else trying to build some, y'all will be able to, mimic it, maybe modify it your own certain way. But, something to help you out, save you some money. Well, I've got the bracket almost fully done. Well, this part is all tacked together. I just got to build my 4-foot step platform that's going to be going up and down with it. I've also got to build a platform underneath the front section of it that's just going to be solid mount, just because if it pivoted, it'd be hitting the truck tire at least. But man, not many things get me excited. I've enjoyed building this whole truck, and every day something's new. This is all new to me. But something like this, for whatever reason, I just love the hell out of it. To be able to fabricate something like this to work as a winch-powered step, I don't know, it's awesome. Not like I had complete blueprints to build this thing step by step or anything, but this is pretty neat. I still got to build a bracket that comes off to the top of here, bends back a little bit, and I'll have a winch up inside here that'll have a cable that will connect to it. So as the sucker goes down, I'll still have a little bit of tension on that cable, and I will have bump stops to keep it from being metal on metal. And the winch is a little four-wheeler winch with a push-button remote, wireless remote that I keep on the keychain. So all I do is walk up, push the button down, up, whichever, and that winch will suck it up into place and hit the next set of bump stops at the top. I still got to put grease certs on each of these after I weld them out. That way I can keep everything greased up and functioning properly. But man, I'm excited. This thing is awesome. So daily driving the same, be no problem hopping in and out of it during, real bad rains and whatnot. I don't mind climbing a tire just like everybody else, but if you're using the same as a weekend driver, you're driven through some mud and whatnot, you're wearing some decent clothes, you don't want to be going to Walmart and trying to climb a muddy tire, fall off, get mud all up and down you. That's the whole reason of me building these steps. So I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, I've got a full step-by-step video I'm putting together. I'm just doing these quick little short videos just to show y'all progress currently. But on the YouTube, I'll have a full video. I'll try to have it start to finish on how to build steps like these. Build it to your preference. This is the way I went with them. Everybody's going to have different dimensions, but you can get a pretty good idea on how to build yours for your vehicle. Enjoy the show. I just got it hooked up. I don't have no weight on it, so it will bounce up and down a little bit. But once you have the step put on it, you have your weight, it shouldn't bounce at all. Came out to a 3.5 foot drop. I'm pretty happy with it. Well, got the step finished, got this whole side knocked out. Welds ain't to my liking, but they'll definitely suffice. Like I said in other videos, I'm no professional at this, but hey, it's getting done, and I mean, homemade shop, homemade trucks is what it is. We got about a 3.5 foot lift on it. I've been using the battery, I swear, probably 40 times, so it may not have a whole lot of life left back in it. I need to charge it. So we'll see how high this thing will get me. But like I said, it's supposed to be a 3.5 foot lift from what I measured out last time. It'll jerk on me or yeah, that battery's getting a little dead on me. But I can reach everything just fine. I think it's going to work out well. I do need to add another brace on the arms. But works out really well. I think that brace in the center part would help out a little bit, just because it does have a little bit of wiggle to it. I like it to be a little sturdier. And I do have these rubber bushings that's holding everything together. So those rubber bushings are giving it some give, but it's nothing too detrimental. I mean, you can stand up on it just fine. So it ain't terrible. I think this winch, I can't read it. I think it's, 2,500 pounds is what it's rated for. So it'll definitely hold up. Give y'all a close-up of it. Let y'all see what I'm talking about. I did take a flat disc to it. Kind of clean up that one little corner. I had to clean up the whole deal, do some grinding. I do plan on most likely getting this thing powder coated. We'll see how much the wallet likes that. But it's been working out really well. You can see the winch up in there. Like I said, I got to add one more support this direction. There you have it. Good morning. So today we're going to be working on the winch. The steps did work out well. They do like they're supposed to do. The only problem was the Harbor Freight winch decided to twist out of its own frame. Luckily, it was within the 30 days of whatever, me purchasing it. So I went and swapped it out for another one. Let me switch the camera around. So here's the Harbor Freight winch that I'm using. It works great. They're just mounting setup just sucks for this application, I'm guessing. This is the winch, 2500. I got it on sale for $79. I think it's regular 89 or 99, something like that. Like I said, it works great. It's got this fancy little wireless key fob, which what I really wanted to have for the truck here, you know. So here's my issue. This is where I bolted it down. That's only 2 bolt holes. It gives you 2 mount it. What happened was, whenever it was connected to my bracing up here, you can see the mounting bracket on the angle iron. Whenever it pulled that tension on here, it actually bent it apart from here and here. So what I'm going to do now is get a second piece of angle iron, space it out the proper distance it needs to be. And I'm going to take these bolts out that hold it to the motor itself, get longer bolts, and I'm going to run the angle iron across here for the new piece, put longer bolts, and that way I'll have a mounting bracket for right here and the one that I've already built for right here. So that hopefully that should take away the issue of this little frame wanting to bend. They do have the 3500 version that has a hell of a lot better mounting setup, and it's actually got 4 mounting holes. But the price was $79 for this, where the 3500 version is $159, I think it is, or $149. So the price, you know, a little bit more than doubles. You know, trying to keep this whole setup under $500, which so far it's working out really well. You just got to, you know, figure out all the little kinks. So that's what I'm be working on today is, like I said, replacing these, put longer bolts, run angle iron across it. I'll have 2 runs of angle iron across the top, so it should keep any type of bending out. And what else we got? So I'll knock out that, and then we'll start working on the other side, and I will go into more detail on this, putting those brackets in the mounting plate. I'm still putting together a YouTube video. I think I'm at around 30 minutes so far, building or having a little build video for the step setup. The video will probably be close to an hour by the time I'm done, but I'm telling y'all every diameter, length, width, everything on how this one is set up. That way y'all have something to base y'all's off of. I can't even talk this morning. Anyways, have something to base y'all's off of. That's about it for right now. Okay, so here's the bracket I made for the winch, 34 inches long. Here's the bolt I was talking about replacing. Now I need to run down to the hardware store and go find the matching one, get 2 of it, and I'll probably get about a 1/2 inch longer than what this is. Come on, focus now, dadgummit. Yeah, I'll probably get about a 1/2 inch longer. That way I can do, you know, a good washer and everything to it. Here's the holes. All I did was I took, like I said, 34-inch bar, found the center of it, 17 inches, measured out the distance between the holes, or the distance of the holes was, I think it was 3 1/8. So I just went inch, or not, it was like an 1.5 inches plus a 1/16 for each line, and then I just found the dead center of each one, drilled them out, and this will be flipped upside down. That'll have the winch bolted to it. So just gotta go get 2 new bolts, longer, without the tapered head on it like that, and we'll be able to mount this sucker and have it back up and running. Also, instead of using synthetic rope, I think I'm going to go ahead and take this right here, tow strap from Harbor Freight. I might cut it in half, I might not, and use that at the strap to work them up and down, being that it's, I guess it's got a higher tensile strength. I have to look back at the box to see what the synthetic rope is, but this is a lot wider, and it should, in my opinion, probably work a lot better. I used synthetic at first, but you know how winch rope works. It just kind of falls into place wherever it goes, where this will just, you know, stay in place because it's almost as wide as the whole spool itself. So I think it should work actually smoother and a little bit better. But that's what I plan on putting on this time instead of using that synthetic winch rope.